Divine be guiding me out of this web that got us so stuck. I write the path, remember it now. You wrote the path, remember it now.
Today, I think I'm going to use the same deck that I used yesterday. My old deck. We'll call this my old deck for all intents and purposes on the channel. I don't know. Sometimes I feel bonded with the Good Karma deck. It is fairly new for me. And sometimes I feel more bonded to this deck. So we'll just go with whatever the feelings are. Okay, first card out, Queen of Swords. Second card out, Five of Pentacles. Third card out, Temperance. Two cards out that time. We've got the Hierophant and we've got Nine of Wands. Take this card. Ten of Cups. And this card out, Seven of Swords. Mark the placements of the cards that came out. Again, we've got Queen of Wands. Oh, it's Queen of Swords. Five of Pentacles, Temperance, which is from the Major Arcana, Hierophant, also Major Arcana, Nine of Wands, Ten of Cups, and you are hiding underneath there. Seven of Swords, last card. Okay, so now let's get some clarifying question cards out. Okay. First card out, should I get back with my ex? Third card out, how can I get over my ex? A lot of ex energy today. How can I love myself more? What is my worst character strength? How can I stop repeating past love mistakes? Question 5. What is the current energy around my life? Question number 6 and last question. When will I find love again? Right, so first off, energy is kind of scattered today. We do have 2 major arcana today, which is the first so far for the readings. And we have 2 swords, which is air energy, so there's a lot of air. There is a little fire, a little water, a little earth. So let's see what happens with the questions. So first question, should I get back with my ex? And I'm going to take this as a yes or no question. And an ex from my past actually popped up in my life today. We had a really long discussion. So I am going to, and he has let me know that he is, his intentions are for us to get back together. But I did let him know that, some things are going to have to change based on what caused us to break up in the first place. So I'm going to just take this as a yes or no question. So let's go ahead. Should I take my ex back? Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is right here. And if it were a yes or no question, it would be yes. And just out of curiosity, let's see what the message is. Tough love is required. Interesting. So yeah, I guess that would make sense for that relationship. There were a lot of boundaries that were crossed. There were a lot of unkept promises, a lot of things that definitely could have been better in that situation. So we'll see how that plays out. It's interesting. How can I get over my ex? So I'm going to kind of just keep this general. I'm curious to see what the message is going to be. And I think once I read the message, I'll know which ex we're talking about here. Since there are a couple in my energy currently. Alright, so that's clarified by the Five of Pentacles. And the message there is, it's time to heal and rejuvenate. And if I remember correctly, yesterday the Five of Pentacles came out for a similar ex question. And I had mentioned that my most recent ex, he mentioned that there's a lot of 5 energy in that relationship. So that's interesting. And he was an earth sign. So I'm going to take it as getting over my most recent ex. And it's time to heal and rejuvenate. So I take that as I need to put more energy and more focus into healing myself and making sure that I am okay and practicing self-love and self-care more often than I'm thinking about him and what went wrong in our relationship. So we're moving on. How can I love myself more? And this is Temperance. The message here is balance is not found, it is created. So when I hear that message, it brings up the idea that a lot of times we feel that balance is either have it or you don't. Or you're constantly having to look outside of yourself and there's a specific thing that's going to fit perfectly and balance us out perfectly. And like it says, it's created. So we kind of need to me that means that we need to find the balance in all things. All things can be balanced if we give it the right energy, rather than finding something that already has the right energy. If I'm making sense here, like rather than finding something that already fits perfectly, we can look at our current situation and the energy that's already around and actively find ways to make it more of a balanced situation. And that could be with relationships, that could be with your personal feelings, that could be with really anything. It doesn't have to necessarily be something that deals with another person. All right, what is my worst character strength? And that is clarified by the Hierophant. And that message for that is question your beliefs. So my worst character strength is that I'm constantly questioning myself, not trusting my intuition, not believing when my gut says, Rashida, this is XYZ, this person is XYZ, this situation is XYZ. I'm always constantly like, well, what if it's this? And what if that person is this? And they said this, and constantly going against what my first mind says. So yeah, I would agree that could definitely be one of my worst character strengths. I could definitely get into my head and question myself a lot. All right, how can I stop repeating past love mistakes? And that's clarified by the Nine of Wands. So in order to Stop repeating past love mistakes. Messages, expect to learn from the truth. Expect to learn from the truth. I think this card, if I'm not mistaken, this card came out. It wasn't the last reading, it was the first reading. So this is now 2 cards that have come out on multiple occasions. Expect to learn from the truth. And the last time that this came out, the message was, or my interpretation of the message was, to let things unfold rather than to be so sure that I know what the truth is. So that's kind of contradicting because I do have a tendency to not trust my gut, and that usually when I don't trust my gut is when I should, and when I do trust my gut is when I shouldn't. So it's always like when I really should or shouldn't, but positive outcomes come when I don't trust I trust my gut. I don't know. Anyway, expect to learn from the truth. I'm gonna marinate on that one a little bit. The clarity's not really coming through on that right now. Give them the peppers. What's the current energy around my life? 10 of Cups. You are exactly where you're meant to be. And that's true. I need to remind myself of that more and more. Sometimes I can get caught up in not being where I want to be, but I am exactly where I am meant to be. And those are 2 completely different things. And falling back and coming into alignment with that understanding has been a struggle, especially lately, because I have this idea of where I want to be, especially mentally, and sometimes I'm there and sometimes it's like I'm still like far from it. But yeah, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. We all are exactly where we are meant to be, regardless of how it feels. In the grand scheme of things, it all works out for our highest good. We have to keep faith in that. So the last question, when will I find love again? So this is a 1 question, and I do have times written underneath each of these cards. So this is clarified by the 7 of Swords. The time for that, it says 7 months. So in 7 months' time, I should be finding love again. So we'll see how that plays out. And just for curiosity's sake, it says that it will be an air sign, 7 of Swords, but that person will be a manipulator. So we'll see. Anytime I see the word manipulator come up, I always think of my most recent ex, because he was a master at that. And so maybe he'll be back in 7 months. We will see. All right, so that concludes today's reading. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And until next time, be well and be safe.